Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Sorry I'm a little late. I try to release every 2 days, but this time it was 3. But that's mainly because I was working on my second channel, which you guys should probably go and check out. But in this video we're going to be remastering Skyrim with the best RPG mods that will even put Witcher to shame. And the best part is that you won't need over 100 mods to do so. So I'm going to make this as quick and painless as possible. But before we get into it, make sure you leave a like down on the video and subscribe for more content in the future. And then let's dive right in. First up, we're going to try and keep this simple. The first mod I want you to spend 5 seconds of your life grabbing, maybe 10, depending on if you can find it in time, is floating damage. And if you want to go just that little extra step, you can also grab better floating damage preset. It's what I use because honestly the base version of floating damage can be a little boring. And we don't want boring considering this is a remaster. Floating damage makes it so random numbers appear on your screen when you deal with damage. Well, it's not really random, it's more so RNG on the damage of your sword or whatever you're currently using. But it will also appear if you're healing as well, but if you aren't using better floating damage preset, yours will probably be white and it won't be green like mine, nor will it show up as good looking. So yeah, this mod is the absolute minimum mod for this list, but we're gonna move on because I want to make this as painless as possible since it is almost Friday. Next mod up, because this is absolutely essential and in any list, even if you aren't following this video, this mod is called TrueHUD, and it allows for NPCs to have health bars above their head that are dynamic with their current stats, so it shows their stamina and magicka. This kind of has its own floating damage bar of its own. When you deal damage to NPCs, the health bar will show a damage counter somewhere on the right corner, but it's kind of small, so when you're in combat you probably won't notice it. So it's probably better to just use floating damage, it just fits better. But TrueHUD definitely does a lot more, but we are simply going to focus on the RPG elements. Like if you pair with true directional movement, also by the same author, you can lock onto enemies as well. You definitely need both in my opinion. If you're going to use TrueHUD, they are definitely a complete package that you need together. But just to quickly explain true directional movement, it is a mod that makes movement closer to modern RPGs rather than Skyrim. Because Skyrim being older than a decade doesn't even have 360 movement with the camera, and true directional movement kind of fixes that for us. But speaking of a decade, did you guys know Avengers Infinity War came out in 2018? It's almost been 6 years, it feels like maybe a year at most. Starting to feel a little old over here. But moving on to the next mod you have to get, and that is obviously moreHUD and moreHUD inventory version, because they make it so you can actually see the items you're looking at along with reading their information rather than having to pick them up and then read the information, because then you have to go into your inventory and that's kind of annoying. It will show the damage counter of the weapon or the armor rating of an armor if you're looking at it, as well as how much carry weight you would gain if you were to actually pick it up.
Take the job.
I'm definitely naming obvious mods here, but these are absolutely essential if you want to remaster Skyrim into a true RPG, as well as this next mod, which is Compass Navigation Overhaul. This mod makes it so that when you look in a direction, if you look up at the compass, it will show just how far that marker actually is. But the best part though is that if you're currently tracking a quest, which is most likely what you will be doing because it is Skyrim, but if you do end up looking at that quest marker on the compass, it will make a quest menu appear on the left side of your screen, reminding you of just what quest you're actually doing. I'm actually starting to feel like every mod that blows up on Skyrim Mod Nexus is a mod that makes us more lazy than we already are. But I guess that's just kind of how humanity works. Oh, and also you can't forget one of the most important mods for this list is QuickLoot. And specifically QuickLoot EE, not RE. QuickLoot allows you to view the inventory of defeated enemies without having to actually open their inventory, as well as for containers and other lootable items, because most of the time we just want the gold anyway, we don't need anything else. And the reason I picked QuickLoot EE is because it also shows the icons of items, while RE is more simplistic, but we're going for a cinematic feel here, so I need pictures. Oh, and speaking of pictures, that brings me to the next mod, which is named Oblivion interaction icons. This mod is based on Oblivion, but with a lot more additions in my opinion. It adds in small icons above the interaction button when you want to talk to an NPC, harvest an object, or sleep, or even just simply activate something. Although I wouldn't say this one is an absolute must-have, but it is for me, even though that's a little biased. But this next one is 100% essential, and if you disagree, you're simply wrong. I will not argue with this. The next mod is called Wheeler. This mod takes inspiration from Red Dead Redemption 2, but it makes it so you have a new favorite menu, essentially. But it doesn't replace the favorites menu, it makes a menu appear on your screen that lets you slow time. And the slow time is pretty much based on whatever you have it set as. You can even have it set to not slow time at all. But this is great for those people who want organized favorite items, so you don't have to use up all your hotkeys. You can simply just scroll and find everything you need. depending on if you weren't lazy and actually set up Wheeler, but then you'll just have to use favorites made. And here's just a few little quick ones. First up, we have Oxygen Meter 2, not the first one. I don't know why you would still use that one, but this one makes it so you will actually see how long your character can hold their breath underwater before you drown. And you should probably get a mod to increase that, because at base, you can only hold your breath for about 10 seconds. I didn't count, but it's about 10 seconds in vanilla. And that's done for a character who can shout dragons out the sky. Next mod you might want to grab is Contextual Crosshair. This mod makes it so your crosshair won't bother you 24/7 by being on your screen. This will make it so the crosshair only appears when you need it, like when you're aiming with the bow or magic, but me, I could probably aim without it. I'm pretty good at that, mainly because TrueHUD lets me lock on, but still. And another one is Detection Meter NG. Please make sure you get the NG one, because if you don't, I will not listen to complaints. But this mod overhauls the vanilla sneak meter, allowing you to have a modern feel on it. When sneaking, the bar will be white when you're near non-hostiles to let you know that they see you. But if you're in a hostile area, it will turn red. Then you will have a choice of fight or run away. And the last interface mod I'm going to mention is Constructible Object Custom Keyword System. That was kind of hard to say now that I think about it. And yes, that is a special word put together. And no, I will not be saying what that word is, but I'm sure you can figure it out. But this mod makes it so when you're crafting items at a forge or an alchemy station, they will have special keywords that will sort the items better for you, so you can find things a lot quicker. This is, like I said, another one of those mods that just is aimed to make us lazy, but you know what? I love the modding scene for it. Okay, now we can get into the good stuff, the gameplay mods. And to start us off, considering most modern RPGs is in third person, or the ones I prefer is, the mod I want you guys to go and grab is Better Third Person Selection. Better Third Person Selection makes things easier to select in third person. Well, okay, I'll try and explain that a little better. It extends the range of selecting items in third person by making use of true direction of movement, which I told you guys to grab earlier. If you didn't, then you have already failed me. And the items selected are based on value as well, so you will most likely always grab that gem before you end up grabbing some gold. And that's another thing it makes easier. It makes it easier to pick up all those gold pieces that are scattered around. And another mod that works well with better third person selection is a mod that adds a sort of parkour to Skyrim. This mod is called SkyClimb. It allows you to look at a certain spot above your character and climb onto it, or if it's a fence, your character will vault over it. It isn't perfect, but considering Skyrim never even had jumping while running, at least not when it first came out, but now we have it, but this is a massive mod now. Like I said, it isn't exactly perfect. You may end up clipping into rocks when you use it to climb up a mountain, but your character will always end up in the intended spot. You just might end up getting a nice view of below the map for a second. But moving on to the next mod, because I could definitely rant about SkyClimb for a while because I 100% love it and must have it in every playthrough, but that's probably just me. But the next mod up is just important. It's by the one and only J Serpa. This mod is called Headhunter. It's a pretty popular mod, but some people probably don't know about it. This mod takes those boring bounties in Skyrim and makes them more RPG-like. Headhunter lets you actually capture bandits instead of always being forced to kill everything. Now when you capture the bandit, all you have to do is take them to a guard and they will take them to prison. So a little actually small popular thing about this mod is that it lets you populate prisons, so it won't always just be you in there for killing Nazim. But if you do end up killing the bandit, you can now behead them and it will actually have a headless corpse afterwards. And when you take it to whoever set up the bounty, they will take the head and give you gold. I'm not sure what they do with the head, maybe they collect it. I don't know. Okay, so hear me out about these next two mods. They are both by power of 3, but they are both a must-have. The first one is Enhanced Reanimation. This fixes a ton of bugs that have to do with vanilla necromancy, and trust me, they are necessary. But the best part is that it also allows you to revive enemies that are beheaded. So you could technically speaking be walking around with a headless follower. And I don't know about you, but that sounds pretty freaking amazing to me. But the next mod I wanted to mention is Enhanced Invisibility, which does invisibility in the same fashion as the previous mod, fixing bugs firstly, and also improving on the spell itself. It makes invisibility more visible when enemies use it. So if you're quick enough, you will actually have time to react because you will see shimmers in light telling you where they are. But if you're using it, NPCs still won't know where you are because, I mean, they're still NPCs. But hey, at least you won't be dying to it as much now like in vanilla, unless you were playing on some super easy difficulty. Now we're going to mess with the skill trees a little bit, and I think for that we firstly need to grab Ordinator, because Ordinator provides so many perks that you can pick and choose from, and I mean it adds a lot, especially if you want to specialize in one build. Some people may think it is too many perks, but some people also use Vulcanator Black, which has like 2,000 perks I believe, so I think this might be just a healthy amount in my opinion, just to overhaul your Skyrim skill tree. But this is just the base. Next, on top of Ordinator, we need Skyrim skill tree Uncapper by Casplat. And I said their name because there's quite a few Uncappers, but this one is the best right now. This mod makes it so you can tweak Skyrim settings easily, but you don't do it in game, you actually have to do it from the INI. But you can say how high skill trees will go, so 100 won't be the cap anymore. But you can also increase experience gain for skill trees or lower it to 0 so you get your skill level ups from somewhere else. But it also lets you pick how many perks you get at a level up, which is essential, and the main reason why we're using this because if you're using Ordinator, you're gonna need a lot of perks. And I generally said it's a 3 per level up because it's the perfect amount to get a lot of perk trees but not max them all out at the end game. And the reason why I even said that you get your skill level ups from somewhere else is because we're going to be using static skill leveling, Redone. That version is better, which basically turns Skyrim into a true RPG. So instead of leveling up by using a skill over and over, you will instead level up your skills by using stat points when you level up. And the way we make this happen is by using experience, which pretty much allows you to gain experience by completing quests and killing NPCs, and also discovering locations. Pretty much every time you get some kind of pop-up, you will get experience for it. Experience and static skill leveling is meant to be used together, but I mean you could also leave your skill XP gain on so you can level up skills by using them a lot, as well as leveling it up when you level up with static skill leveling. Which is actually what I'm doing right now, which might be a little cheating, but it's pretty fun. And to cap things off, we have to have the combat section. This one I don't think there is much I can add to it that you guys don't already have or know about, but I'm going to do it anyway. The first mod that you absolutely need is Dynamic Impact Slash Effects. This mod makes it so when you hit an enemy, the impact will be dynamic depending on who and what you're hitting, as well as expanding on impact effects, adding a white slash effect with blood, or depending on if you're hitting a skeleton then there'll be no blood, but you'll still have the impact effect. And depending on what you chose when you're installing, this white slash can be red or blue, but there will always be the impact effect on top of this. There is also Moo Impact if you happen to be using that, if you want to go just that extra step. It makes the hits more vibrant in my opinion, but I prefer to just stick with Dynamic Impact Slash Effect since that's already anime enough.
We've even got Crossbones.
But on top of this mod, the next mod you absolutely need if we're going to turn this into an RPG is Valhalla Combat. Valhalla Combat massively changes the combat system, adding a better parry and block system. That's what it's pretty much known for, but it does so much more to be honest. Like for instance, it has a stamina system, so if you miss in combat your stamina will drain, but if you hit an enemy, you will instead gain stamina. But if they block that hit, you will also lose stamina, so it's a bit of pros and cons there. But what's great about this mod that not many people talk about is that if you actually try, you can actually parry projectiles like arrows and even magic. But both does require magicka to do because, I mean, Valhalla already makes stamina management pretty hard. And on top of all that, I'm actually starting to sound like a car salesman. But on top of all that, it has an execution system as well that is compatible with poise if you happen to be using that. If you break an enemy's poise bar, their health will glow red, allowing you to actually execute them by either on hit or with the hotkey. And I recommend with the hotkey because on hit can be a bit buggy, but it's nothing Valhalla can do about that. But before we end the video off, I can't forget the most important part and the reason I started this whole entire video. The mod you guys need to end this video off with is Edge UI by Eugene. It is 100% free on their Patreon, but there is an early access version that does cost $3, and I won't throw those people off because then they start thinking that the entire thing costs. But no, that is just early access. But even then, that version will be free as well as they work on the next version. This mod does require Untarnished UI, and Untarnished UI does need Dear Diary Dark Mode white text. But it is so worth it even though that is just 2 small requirements, just to get this modern looking UI. And I know it's an amazing HUD because a lot of people always ask me about it. And the best part is that it's not even close to being done yet. So we can definitely expect to see a lot more greatness in the future. That was it for today guys, thank you for tuning in once again. If you enjoyed this video, which I probably know you did if you made it this far, make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe for more content in the future. And also check my second channel down in my description. But I hope you all have a great day. Peace and love guys.